Hello everyone, welcome back to the Year That Did Not Count YouTube channel. Now, yesterday we read pages between 13 and 23, and today we'll be reading pages, we're gonna read pages. We're gonna read pages 23 to 33. Okay, let's do a quick recap of what we read last time. So Audrey goes into the house to practice with Mia, and she meets her father. And her father's like, wait, you can tell the future too? So can I. So after that, they leave the house, even though Audrey doesn't want to, but Mia's like, come on, we have to go. And eventually, Mia gets all mad at Audrey, and Audrey gets all mad at Mia. And that night, Audrey has this vision of something happening on the TV, and everything's weird, and then she wakes up, and she goes to school, and she calls Mia, but then she collapses again, and she has another glimpse of the future, and she wakes up in the nurse's office, and that's pretty much where we left off. So let's continue the book of The Year That Did Not Count, starting on page 23 and ending on page 33. Okay, let's begin. A chair sits next to a burning fireplace, filled with fresh firewood that smells of melting marshmallows. The cold wind howls outside as an old man sits on the chair with a book in his hand, The Year That Did Not Count. He sighs, for he has a person on his mind. He has abandoned his daughter, Audrey. It's not her fault, and it never has been. Seeing has always been in her blood, and in his blood. Audrey, like James, is a satyr, a member of a secret organization that has people planted in the government, stores, and schools. Sometimes even the president is a satyr. These powerful people have such special abilities. They can see into the future and teleport. Having satyrs prevents the world from being overrun by unknown creatures and has even helped with the creation of some well-known stores and restaurant chains. As James sits alone next to the fire, he knows that his daughter will return soon. In the nurse's office, Nurse Mary looks at Kate and Max and says, "She knows." "We have to help her," Kate exclaims. "She's the master's child." "But how are we supposed to help without blowing her cover?" Max asks. "We'll find a way," Nurse Mary mutters. It is once again lunchtime, and Audrey invites Max and Kate to sit with them. Audrey sighs and pulls out a peanut butter sandwich. It had been an eventful day, from waking up in the nurse's office to having a test in math and English. Audrey, looking for answers, begins to ask, "Has anyone heard of the coronavirus?" Max cuts in. He glances towards Kate and winks. Audrey cannot help feeling a pang of jealousy. Kate rolls her eyes. "Yeah, we had to do a project on it for science." "Really?" Mia asks suspiciously. "What was the project then?" Kate pauses for a second before replying, "Well, it was kind of boring, and I was busy making paper airplanes. So, why don't you tell them about it, Max?" All of a sudden, the cafeteria's doors burst open as Nurse Mary runs in. Audrey and Mia turn to see Max and Kate on their feet. "Where are you going?" Mia asks. But Audrey is already standing up with the group. "Follow me," Max says, and they begin running through the halls, not caring what rules they are breaking. Audrey turns around as Mia follows, only to see that Nurse Mary is following them as well. Finally, they come to a stop in the corner near the water fountains. Kate quickly takes off the sweater she is wearing and drapes it over the security camera, races under the water fountain, and pulls open a small wooden trap door. All of a sudden, Audrey feels a sharp tug on her collar of her jacket and screams. "Be quiet, it's just me," Mia hisses. "There's no way I'm going anywhere with you people, let alone a small space that leads to goodness knows where." "Well, you come this far, no going back," Max says, his icy eyes pinned on Mia. Max, Nurse Mary, Kate, Audrey, and finally Mia climb into the small, cramped tunnel. "This is insane," Mia keeps saying to herself while Audrey stays silent, lost in her own thoughts about how she is leaving school without telling anyone, let alone her mother, and has no idea where she is heading. They continue crawling for what feels like hours, and then they all see light. It's not a bright light, but it's definitely a light. And finally, with much effort, they reach the end. "Great, just great," Mia grunts, for they find themselves at the same old house from the night before. This time, however, there is a blazing fire and a wooden chair. "Welcome to Owlmere," Nurse Mary says as she snaps her fingers along with Mia and Kate. Audrey, knowing what she must do, snaps her fingers as well. The old house splits apart to reveal an enormous room filled with many shades of greens, blues, and purples. The wooden chair is replaced by many chairs that look as if it's made of silver. There are thousands of glass raindrops hanging from the ceiling. Wow, Audrey gasps. Mia's still looking around in confusion and asks, what are you guys staring at? Snap your fingers, Audrey says under her breath. Make sure it's your right hand, Kate says nonchalantly, as if they've done this many times before. But I'm left-handed, Mia groans. Mary chuckles as the attention of the group falls on James. Father, Audrey says as she glances at Mia. James beams. Welcome home, Audrey. Home? But what? Audrey begins to say, but she falls into Mia's arms yet again, and the world disappears. This time, Audrey finds herself in a room that resembles a bedroom. Her father is in an armchair, and Audrey, feeling her arms, discovers that she is soaked head to toe in something that smells disgusting. Abandoning smelling the substance, Audrey looks up to see Max and Kate crying while Mary tries to soothe them. Audrey tries to speak, but no sound comes out. It appears as if no one can see that she is awake, let alone screaming her lungs out. All of a sudden, the crying stops, as Kate raises her voice and says, How did she die? How did Mia die? Audrey's body freezes over as she begins, as if she's being pulled by a fishing line. She becomes conscious again. Her father is in an armchair and Audrey's in the bed. Max and Kate are crying while Mary pats them on the shoulder, just as she had in the vision. No, Audrey screams. Where's Mia? Calm down, Audrey, her father says, in an amused tone. It was just a dream. Audrey looks over at the door as Mia walks in and realizes Max and Kate are crying from laughter. I don't understand. I blacked out and I had a vision. That's what happens every other time, Audrey says quickly. And that's why you're here, Mary explains. To learn how to tell the difference between a dream and the future. And to learn how to become a satyr like Max, Kate, your father, and I. Okay, Audrey replies stunned. A few seconds pass, and Audrey opens her mouth to speak again. I still have one question. Or some questions. Question number 1, where are we? Question number 2, what on earth is a satyr? And question number 3, how did I not know this before? This time her father speaks. There's only so many questions I can answer. Really? Audrey retorts, because it seems like you all know exactly what's going on. Her father sighs, and he rubs his weary eyes. Don't do that, Audrey exclaims suddenly. Do what? James asks alarmed. Don't touch your eyes like that. It transfers a bunch of germs into your body, Audrey replies. James shakes his head. Well, I will answer your questions, Audrey. Turn back your trust. Nothing you do will ever be able to do that, Mia huffs. Audrey can tell that Mia's words have hurt her father, for the stars that usually sparkle in James' eyes have gone out. James is silent for a moment, but explains. This is the same place the old house stood, just off the main road. Owlmere is a school for young satyrs, which are humans who have been given the ability to see the future. The most talented are even able to see the past. And what about my other question? Audrey asks impatiently. We're getting to it, James says as he sinks slower in his armchair. The reason you never knew about this, as I told you when we first met, is this type of magic is a curse, not a blessing. If you believe in seeing the future is a curse, then why do you have a school teaching people how to use it? And what do you mean they were given the ability? James stares off into the distance for a while before turning back to the group. To answer your first question, the reason we have Owlmere so young satyrs don't become turners, people who are once satyrs but have since turned evil. Which brings me to question, what are we on now? 5? Satyrs are simply made by, I know this is going to sound crazy and stupid, but there are people who have genetics with the blood of a magic 8-ball, a unicorn, or sometimes even a wizard. This happens when either themselves or their family members have been injected with the blood. Audrey could not contain herself for any longer. So you're telling me I'm part magic 8-ball? Audrey asks before bursting out laughing. Yes, her father says, a smile creeping onto his lips. Or a unicorn, or a wizard. Okay, so that was the next 10 pages, and I hope you enjoyed it. So this is my Owlmere Illumini t-shirt, which was obviously in the book, so I thought it was very fitting to wear it. I'll probably be posting the next 10 pages very soon, and I'm planning to do a cover reveal on Wednesday. Since you can't comment on these videos because some settings, I don't know why, you can contact me here. That's give me my email address if you have any questions about me or the book. And yeah, see you guys next time. But before I go, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're notified every time I upload a new video. See you guys later.